Someone else besides Goku mastered the power of God's Ultra Instinct. We're gonna find out today and discuss this with my boy Unreal Entertainment Gaming, and we're gonna dive right into what are the potentials of Vegeta getting Ultra Instinct and if any other characters in the Dragon Ball realm can potentially unlock this for the future of the series. What's going on, Alex? Thank you for joining me here today.
Thank you for having me, man. It's a pleasure.
What we're going to be discussing here is anyone else besides Goku mastering Ultra Instinct, and if so, who's the most likely candidate for getting this, as well as where do you see the series going with this form, because we know that they've already just unlocked it, Goku can't go back into it, and are they going to abuse it, or are they going to keep it very, very safe and held for only the most dire moments from this point on?
I mean, it's kind of been alluded that Ultra Instinct will be no more, right? Or at least they kind of hinted at that and saying, well, when Vegeta asked Goku, "Can you do it?" he was like, "No, I can't. I can't go back into it." So they're kind of playing it off as if like, okay, well, we may not go back into UI just because we feel like it was a mistake. But let's say hypothetically speaking, which I do think that they should stick with UI. I think that Vegeta should be the only person to get it. Not Oob, not Piccolo, not Gohan, nobody. That power, dude, is a power that the gods not only acknowledge, but they deem it as being like worthy. They all stood up in awe when Goku achieved it and when he mastered it, right? So why not have something similar occur to Vegeta to where finally they're even? Do I think that we're going to get brand new transformations? Unfortunately, yeah. Am I transformation fatigued? Yeah. Because there are so many transformations that are in Dragon Ball that every time a new one appears, the one prior is just meaningless. So I think that to even the playing field and to give these two like the max, have them both have mastered Ultra Instinct, and then just have them perfect it as they go on. I don't see it to where they can't, perfect the powers given to them, but I do feel as if like it would be best suited for Vegeta to get it in a series and not in the movie. In the movie, it would kind of like, just kind of like stray away from like the main narrative.
That's a big statement.
I feel like the main narrative would be like, the Saiyan, and then the fight with Goku, and then the fight with Vegeta, the whole 9 yards. But to give Vegeta UI, it's like kind of overkill, because I don't think this upcoming enemy is going to be as strong as Ultra Instinct. But if they were to save it for a new series, then why not strike when the iron's hot? So give that to Vegeta. So I think that it's best suited that only Vegeta gets it, and of course Goku too, but just for them two to have it and nobody else, because they've worked for it. They literally worked for it. You can't bring up anybody else that has worked just as hard as those two. Those two throughout all of Super have busted their ass to be where they're at. So they deserve it, like more notably so than anybody else. But I think that if they were to do it, it would best be suited for Vegeta to have it in a new series as opposed to getting it in the film. Because if he gets it in a series, it would be a bit more meaningful than seeing it happen so quickly on the big screen, and then for it just to fade away, and then for there to be no meaning behind it, I think.
For me, I would actually see Vegeta getting it more than anyone else because he was the closest to it. Him getting Super Saiyan Blue Evolution, I felt like was a cop-out from him getting it in the series at the very end there. I would have rather it happen right then and there than anything else. But the reason why I would rather see this happen in the movie is because, one, the hype around this movie is insane, and rather than seeing Goku tap back into Ultra Instinct to take on this new foe and show us that this new guy is super powerful, having Vegeta rise up in a movie about the Saiyans, the Prince of all Saiyans, taking his rightful place as one of the strongest beings yet again, it fits him. And if we go back to what happened with Resurrection F, he also did basically the same thing. They came up with all these transformations, and it was the transformation that carried on for another 100 episodes in Dragon Ball Super Saiyan Blue. So if they do end up repeating the same exact thing they did with the movie into whatever new series they're going to do, what if they decide to recap it? I think if they do introduce in the movie, they're going to end up recapping it, and then it'll still make sense in a way. But if not Vegeta, I see maybe, hopefully, a villain getting Ultra Instinct. And I think there could be someone that comes out of the water getting Ultra Instinct, someone completely out of the blue. But the person that's most likely out of anybody, I would say Frieza. Because Frieza studied that form more than anyone else besides Vegeta on that field. He was analyzing it every second of the way, and he knew the threat he was dealing with. If this guy only trained for 4 months and got golden, he's alive now, he's creating an army. What happens if he trains on these guys for like a year or two? What happens then?
Oh no, I mean, you're right. He does know about UI, and he does know like what it is. So I can't deny that in saying that he wouldn't be able to achieve it. I'm fairly certain that he could if he were to devote himself like the other two did. But it's just it's very weird in its approach, because we can't say for sure that he could get it, But if he were to get it, that would make him incredibly dangerous, I think. But it would also kind of like be very interesting to see Goku and you know, Frieza fight once more, except only in the form of UIs. Like, that would be spectacular, I think. But for now, I think that it should only be Vegeta, just because I feel like Vegeta has worked towards it. Should a villain get it? Not yet. It's just too much. I mean, you don't have to give a villain Ultra Instinct. Jiren didn't have Ultra Instinct, and look at him. He was still cleaning house. So who's to say that we won't get any other character out there that doesn't have God Key or UI that could still be relative to that kind of power with complete ease, just like Jiren did. Jiren's a good example of that.
I think that is a really good example, but one of the things about Jiren that I still have flaws with is that at the very end of everything, he was fodderized, and he didn't have that much things besides at the beginning of the Tournament of Power, where he was super powerful and the mystery of all was really hype around him. Towards the end, it died down and he got completely destroyed. His lasting effect and appeal, it's not really there, because like if you compare him versus like Frieza and Goku Black and maybe even Beerus, if you compare him against them, who do you want to see Goku have a rematch against the most, like a definitive rematch? Because we know for sure that Frieza's gonna get stronger. I want to see Goku Black come back. I want to see Beerus finally get defeated by Goku. But Jiren, I'm like, you were just kind of boring in my mind at the very end there. I don't want to see you come back. And then on the subject of Ultra Instinct, I think if not a villain, if not Vegeta, someone else from their universe, one of the side characters that haven't been utilized that they can potentially bring back up into the ranks of their current power, can be brought back into the series. They did it low-key with 17, with him having no prior context to him, like what he was doing all these years. They brought him back during the filler arc, and then all of a sudden he came back and went and became the MVP. They don't need it for that to happen, but for them to do it at this point in time and really just bring one character back into the spotlight, I mean, it could be Gohan, it could be Oob, if anything, because low-key, they still haven't retconned GT 100%. It still fits into the continuity of the series. Am I saying it's canon? No, it was made by Akira Toriyama, but they still haven't been ballsy enough to do that yet.
I don't know, like, I just feel like the way they're gonna tell the story off, I think that they need to keep everything with Vegeta and Goku balanced first before throwing in Gohan and everybody else. Like, you need to establish those two first going into this film, and then potentially in a new series. But at the same time, I think that it's an interesting concept, because we don't know for sure if they're gonna keep UI or not. They went off on a limb in saying that Goku getting UI was a mistake. It kind of sucks, you know, for them to say that, because it's like, okay, well, what was the moral purpose of him even having it then to begin with? But I agree with them giving Goku UI out of the cause of a mistake? No. But I think that they need to execute this just like they did with Super Saiyan Blue. And that's why I like Super Saiyan Blue so much, is because they really went with the entire form, the entire series. Even though it had like upgrades and like different grades to it, like Kaioken and Evolution Blue, they still kept with that formula. So do the same thing with UI, you know, allow both of them to use the imperfected power, the perfected power, and then from there, you know, just continue to marinate everything by establishing that fundamental while gradually increasing the strength of the other characters as well. But in terms of, like, you know, anybody else getting UI, realistically speaking, it ought to be Vegeta. But if you should give it to a villain, it should be Frieza, since, like you said, he did study and he did learn about what UI was. He paid close attention. If that were to be given to him, he shouldn't have it until the very, very end. If they are going to allude to one final battle with Frieza, then how awesome would it be if, instead of rushing, he took the time to plan, study, calculate, and then finally, when he were to come back, if he were to come back in the form of being a villain, we could see like that big, you know, final hoorah, and seeing Frieza fight Goku in that form, and then, you know, seeing what happens there. But I think that nobody else thus far is going to get Ultra Instinct, aside from Vegeta potentially, if the series were to continue. But if not, then sadly enough, it's only going to be Goku, and we're going to have to wait and see like where they go with transformations after him.
I mean, it does still make the most sense for Frieza, because he hates authority and he hated like being ruled over, and I think the key for him to overcoming all of that is through mastered Ultra Instinct. But with what happened with Goku there, them shoehorning this form in there, I think it was more of a marketing thing than anything else. And I think the only way they can retcon it is if they show us that other people can get it, beat the crap out of this form, and never use it again. And this way it fits into everything, but it's just sad to see that they made it into something last minute. They did the the same exact thing with Super Saiyan Blue Vegito, where they just shoehorned him in as well. It could be the reason why we're taking this hiatus, because it could be stuff behind the scenes where it's clashes with Toei and Akira's original designs of stuff, and we saw that with Jiren and Toppo. But other than that, I want you guys to tell us in the comment section below, who do you guys think deserves Ultra Instinct? Besides, if it's not Vegeta or Frieza, who else would you guys put on the list? Maybe give us like a top 5. Your comment section
is gonna be flooded with Vegeta comments, guaranteed.
Give us like a top 5 of who you guys would like to see. And I mean, if they give it to Oob, that would still fit the continuity.
Hell no. What? Oh my god.
That's the only way I see it fitting, with Goku being so hyped.
Ew.
With how hyped he was at the end of Dragon Ball Z.
It doesn't matter. That's Z, bro. He would do nothing to deserve that.
But it's either they overwrite the ending of Z or they continue with that. If they end up continuing it, it doesn't make sense for him to like Oob this much. It's like, okay, wow, I'm gonna go off and train with you. You're so weak.
For them to give Oob Ultra, are you kidding? Yo,
that's the only way it fits. That's the only way I see this fitting. The reason why is because, okay, you have these Saiyans out here. You have Kefla out there, and you chose to train this guy over her. The only reason I would see you ever wanting to train Oob at this point, with how weak he is if maybe this guy can Ultra Instinct.
No, but that's Z. Again, we're not even like, once Super kicks back off, that could change. But like Oob getting UI, hell no, hell no. For him to get it before like someone like Vegeta or something, oh, that would be a travesty. Hell no.
That's the only thing I could see that could possibly buff the character. I'm not saying I want that to happen, but
yeah, you do.
I don't want that to happen.
You want everyone to have UI.
I don't want everyone to have UI. Anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Smash that like button, subscribe, check out Alex's channel. Link will be in the description. We'll be seeing you guys next time. Take care.
Peace.
Peace.